Damn, I wish my nigga Fast was here. How you died 30-something after banging all them years? Grammy nominated, in the sign of shedding tears. All this money, power, fame, and I can't make you reappear.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Sebi.
I'm Burn.
And I'm Eve. Today we're doing the topic of Nipsey Hussle and the conspiracy behind Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi's real name was Alfredo Bauman. He was a Honduran herbalist, a self-proclaimed healer, and he cured all disease with herbs and a vegan diet. The diet was based on an alkaline diet where you cut out meat, poultry, seafood, processed items, and sugar. He swapped that out for ripe fruit, non-starchy veggies, and raw nuts. With this diet, he claimed to cure AIDS and other deadly diseases. In 1985, Sebi released an ad called AIDS Has Been Cured.
Okay, so did he actually test it on someone, or was it just something that he thought of?
He actually did test it on someone. So in 1985, as we're going to go more detail about, he went on trial, and the judge asked him to bring in only one patient who could testify that he cured them of disease. But Sebi actually provided them with 70 patients and won the case.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, and when he won the case, it was a very big deal, and that kind of inspired Nipsey to do the documentary he's doing. The documentary that he's working on, or was working on, was about the case from 1985.
Yeah, Sebi was, the case actually, reason why he went on trial is he was charged with practicing without a license, selling products not approved by the FDA, and he fraudulently claimed that he could cure diseases, which actually wasn't a fraud. He actually did cure them of diseases, and actually a lot of people, big name people like Michael Jackson, Left Eye, Eddie Murphy.
Okay, so why wasn't the information about Michael released to the press?
So, it's actually no real reason behind that. I did some research, and according to Face to Face Africa, which is a source online, a lot of Sebi's life and death was like nowhere in the newspaper, which is really odd for somebody that claimed to cure like AIDS and herpes and diabetes and stuff like that. And his arrest records hasn't even been released either, so it's kind of like, what is the government hiding?
Okay, so I did a little research myself, and after he beat that case, he ended up getting arrested a second time. Could you go into detail about that?
Okay, so the second time he got arrested, which was really just 3 years ago, May 28, 2016, he got arrested for money laundering for having $3,700 at the airport. And it was crazy because as a healer who cured like these big diseases and helped out these big name people, why having that large amount of money? Like, why is that such a crazy thing? And so when he got arrested, he was actually released pending court hearing, and then he got rearrested for the same charges on June 3rd, 2016. And while he was in police custody, he ended up getting pneumonia, which is very odd for somebody who has such a strong diet against anything unhealthy. And in police custody on August 6, 2016, he was on the way to the hospital and he died.
So you believe that the government had something to do with his death?
I believe they got something to do with it, which leads to all my conspiracies. Now, Nipsey wasn't the only artist to have been killed shortly after dealing with Dr. Sebi. We have an artist named Left Eye, as you all may know from TLC. She went to Honduras to pay Dr. Sebi a visit. And shortly after, not even making it back to the USA, she was killed in a supposed car crash. Now,
so you're saying supposed, so you don't think that it was just, a car crash, like accidents happen?
No. It's never that simple, okay?
Why do you think that?
Because they don't want what Sebi has, because it's going to mess up the money. All the money that they get is from cancer and all these diseases, okay? So if you got somebody out here that's selling a cure to it for cheap, that's messing up their money, that's messing up their income, and that's messing up they one up on everyone in society.
So it's basically like a threat?
Yeah, he's a threat to the government and their financial stability, because that's really where most of their money come from. The taxes on medicine prices in itself are high, and then you got people, that can't even afford it. So, it's just one big loop. They just want to have control over everybody.
So you think that Nipsey also died from this conspiracy. How so?
I personally do believe that. Now, it has been footage of some guy named Big Shitty Cuz shooting him, but I still believe that the government still had a role in it, because not too long ago, a couple weeks before Nipsey got killed, the government was doing some training in that area where they were running through buildings like a little co-op mission, and they were just seeing, you know what I'm saying, timing it. And this is according to Washington Post. And then they said the way that he was killed was a military style. You know what I'm saying? 5 shots to the body, 1 shot to the head, military style killing. But then later information was released that someone actually from his hood came and killed him. But then again, I have more sources from Time magazine that said that the police are known to get people from the same area to go in and kill somebody that they don't want on the streets. And it's been proven, there's facts, you can look it up, do some research yourself.
So you're telling me that you're thinking the LAPD hired this man to go up and shoot Nipsey in front of his own store?
Yes. It might not have been, they wanted it in front of the store, they just wanted him killed, and that was just the best opportunity. It's been known for several years for police departments to be very evil and wicked and do shady stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had something to do with it.
That's really crazy, because LAPD just seemed like they were so on his side. Like, the government is shady, man.
You're right.
Fair.
You're right.
So, like, speaking of Nip and his store, like, how far did he go with that? Like, was shooting him in front of his store, was that, like, supposed to be, like, a warning or something? Like, this black man came up, rapper, artist out the hood, and he got his own business? Like, what you think?
It'd probably be a warning from the government, you know what I'm saying? Once you start messing with their money, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna give you some red flags like, hey, we see what you're doing, but you gotta cut it out. We don't need you doing this. Everything's fine the way it is. And Nipsey's not the type of person to just stop. He's gonna go all the way. If he has his mind on something, he's gonna do it. So he wasn't gonna stop, and they didn't think he was gonna stop, so they had to end it right there.
And, you know, a little more into that, you know, it's about making a statement. You know what I'm saying? The government, you know, when it comes to their money, they don't want nobody cutting their money off. And that's also why, you know, a lot of times even going into like the lottery, people who win the lottery, a lot of times they want to take the lump sum rather than get paid, you know, every week or month, because they feel like the government will get tired of paying their money. So it's the same with anything like that. Anybody who's messing with the money, you know, can be cut off.
That's true. And, you know, Nipsey was very well known for taking care of his community and giving back to the kids.
And not only was he a rapper, but he was a leader in his community. He used his platform to influence positivity upon our people. He also became an advocate for peace and economic opportunity. Okay, so he has a lot of business ventures that he invested into. One being the Marathon is his clothing store that's located in Los Angeles in his local neighborhood. In his store he sells, he also has his own clothing line in which he sells in his store. He also employs people from his local neighborhood and people he grew up with, you know, to give people who are less fortunate or overlooked in other businesses, he gives them a chance to be able to work. In October 2016,
I heard that a lot of inmates who are fresh out of jail, you know, they don't get the opportunity to get jobs. So I heard he employs a lot of them, you know what I'm saying, make his community better and have money going around.
yeah, he's big on employing people from his local community. And that was one of his main things with all of his business ventures. He also opened a hair business called Elite Hair Extensions in October 2006, followed by a space called Victor 90 that he co-owned with someone else. It was a building that was open to entrepreneurs in the inner city to have an office, basically to come in and, you know, talk business ideas and things of that sort. He started his own label, you know, he had the clothing line, he invested in cryptocurrency, and he also has his own agency. So the day before he was killed, he was supposed to be meeting with the chief of the Los Angeles Police Department to discuss how they can make the community better and what they can do as far as kids and keeping down the gang violence in his local community where his store was.
Yeah, and about where his store was, I've actually been to, that part of Los Angeles a couple times. I got family over there. So, I've seen the store. It's a nice store, too. I didn't buy nothing out of it because, it is a little pricey, but it's good for the community. And, he's keeping us with jobs. And that's what, as a black community, that's what we need to keep doing. Keep putting jobs in our own neighborhoods and providing, opportunities for our own neighborhoods.
And a good thing is, when he passed, a lot of artists came to the store and supposedly broke the register, bought everything in the store and passed it out to the community, which I thought was pretty cool, emptying out the store, that's putting money in his family name and taking care of the community. You can't argue with that.
Not at all.
Yeah, and also when his brother was released from prison, I heard he was supposed to be
helping him out with the store when he was released. And
which he did help him out, But also his brother is his business partner, so he went in detail with all the other businesses and helped him, lift it up and keep it going.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so actually, speaking of his brother, when he got released, his friend, the same day that Nipsey died, actually, his longtime friend, actually childhood friend, got released that day, and he didn't have no clothes, no nothing, so Nipsey actually went to the store that day to get some clothes out for him and just give it to him so he'll have, some clothes on his back, just being a good friend, good person, having a good heart, how he really is, and it just turned into a tragedy.
Yeah, he was a very positive influence on his community, and not only that, but through his rap, he also talked about he had a lot of knowledge. He also talked about like helping people and gang violence and things of that nature.
And another thing about Nipsey too, that everybody might not know, is he was very healthy. You know what I'm saying? He ate a healthy diet. He was actually vegan. And, part of the reason behind this was because he was able to meet, a famous holistic doctor by the name of Dr. Sebi, which we had talked about a little earlier. And, when he had met Dr. Sebi had kind of helped him out with, whatever he was going through, whatever type of sickness he had, and pretty much healed him. So because of that, he was inspired to work on some kind of documentary to let people know a little bit more about Dr. Sebi.
Yeah, if I was to get healed by someone and their name didn't go on and leave an impact, I'd want to make a documentary too,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you have Nick Cannon picking up where he left off with the documentary.
Yeah. Nick Cannon, I salute you.
If you ever hear this podcast.
Yeah, and this documentary too, it's really gonna go in detail about the case from 1985. Some people might know about it, but this is gonna show it to you in a different way, a different light than what you see it on the regular YouTube or what you heard about it in the news. And according to AP News, from my research, it tells me that he brought in over 70 cured patients. And they had all different type of diseases. Some people had AIDS, some people had cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, depression, anything you can think of. And he cured all those different type of, ailments just by having people follow his diet, a natural diet, alkaline, by eating alkaline foods and, using herbs to rebuild the immune system. He pretty much said that the immune system is your key to health. So, you can't get sick if your immune system won't let anything in there.
And another thing Sebi talked about was the power of mucus.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he said that all diseases come from mucus. So his diet was basically a diet to keep mucus from getting in, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, personally, I've tried to go on this venture and try this diet. It's only been a few days, so haven't seen anything major, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and another thing, when you following this diet, you know, you're gonna get sick because all the toxins are leaving your body. You know, and you on your first couple of days, you're not gonna get sick yet, but towards the end, you're gonna see everything releasing from your body, all the mucus, the inflammation, and you know that's gonna kind of restart your body. And by doing that and taking the herbs, you can cure anything with that. So that's what they're afraid of. That's what the government and, you know, the doctors and the pharmaceutical, they don't want you to get that. Because you won't need them once you cure all the inflammation.
Yep. Knowledge is power.
And I know a lot of people are probably thinking, like, where did Sebi even get this idea from? And it was actually claimed in a source that Sebi actually had a disease himself. He suffered from obesity and another disease, and he went to this foreign doctor, and she gave him, you know, the idea that natural things heals your body, because your body has natural healing. And if you're feeding it all the bad stuff and then it gets clogged, then it can't regenerate that natural healing. So she taught him, like, if you eat this natural stuff that's alive, not dead foods, then you're giving your body the chance to heal. And so after he was cured, he went on and he did his own work with it.
Yeah, and you know, that does make sense. Since medicine is pretty new, then their medicine back in the days was a mix of herbs. So for them to still be living with no problems, and then now we're on a different medicine with side effects, I would choose a more healthier medicine.
Because everything here is, you know, on this earth for a reason. You know, we have natural herbs. Everything serves a purpose. So we got to use everything for its purpose and, you know, try to stay away from the artificial.
And I know that it's going to be hard to break away from the diet that you're on now, but portion yourself. You know, do some more research yourself on it. You're going to see a lot of things that could help you out. And I just want to say thank you for tuning into our podcast. Once again, I'm Eve.
I'm Burn.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Tavia.
You guys have a great
about
one.
Nipsey.
Standing right here is a guy who looks like Snoop Dogg. But he ain't Snoop Dogg. Well, you do look.
I get that all the time.
What's your name, man? You new and upcoming, but you're at this summit. What's your name? Where you from?
My name Nipsey Hussle. I'm from LA, Slauson and Crenshaw area. You know.
Okay, well, Nipsey Hussle, that's named after Nipsey Russell, the comedian.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So talk a little bit about yourself, man. What brings you up here, up and coming, and, you know, how come you're not blinging and having all kind of crazy diamonds and all that? I guess you're here to get your money right, huh?
All the time. I mean, you know, all that is cool for the image and all that, but all them is liabilities. You feel me? I'd rather invest in some real estate. You know what I'm saying? Something
Oh, wait, can you repeat that again, man? You're up and coming artist. What did you say you want to do?
I say invest in some assets as opposed to trick off my money on some liabilities like diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Cars that lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot.
So you're trying to get land.
Exactly, homie. A real asset. Take care of my peoples, cause you know it look good, but at the end of the day, you losing value, homie. It ain't appreciating. It's depreciating.